humming low, engine revving in the distance, hear that Indy grow. Toronto streets are crawling when the rubber meets the road, bringing speed to our city in a legal heavy load. Oh, it's the Toronto Indy blues with a fast car roll in the heart of our town that taking control. From the skyline to the lakeside, watch them as they go, bringing thrills and excitement in a high-speed show. Oh, the sun is shining down on the asphalt track. The drivers got that fire, ain't no looking back. Crowds are gathered around, feel the city's beat. It's a race day party right on our street. Oh, it's the Toronto Indy Blues with a fast car roll in the heart of our town to take control. From the skyline to the lakeside, watch them as they go, bringing thrills and excitement in a high-speed show.
Hello. Howdy doody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And this is the Ask a Traffic Cop show. It's the show on the internet that had Suno do an intro about the Honda Indy, because that's where we're going to be this weekend. That's why there's only going to be 2 shows this week, yesterday and today. Oddly enough, yesterday was the 80th episode of Ask a Traffic Cop this year. Today's the 81st episode. And of course, no episodes for the rest of the week because we're setting up for Honda Indy. We'll be at Honda Indy. And yeah, it's good stuff. Hope you can make it. Friday is Fan Friday. It's free. Fan Friday is free. Unless something's changed, we don't know about it. As far as I know, Fan Friday is still free, which is good. Free is always good. If you're watching, you're probably on one of these platforms that I didn't get ready to press the button for. There we go. One of these. And I'm actually really curious. Did X work? Let's see. It said, did it work? It is working. Currently live. Haha. It's going to stop working. It's working now. Oh, it's working on this channel. I wonder if it's working on the sorry, as I go deep down the rabbit hole, it's working on mine. I have a verified account. And you know what's funny? Traffic Services doesn't. Is it still working? No, it didn't post. It did not go live. So what's happening is X just implemented something yesterday that if you don't have a paid account, you can't live stream. I have a paid account, so VoiceOver Cop, the live stream works. Toronto Police doesn't have a paid account, so they can't. If you're trying to get through on other channels, YouTube is going to be the option instead of X. I digress. It's just it's the news. It's the news is the news. If you're watching now but can't stick around, we get it. But you do have options you see up here. Yeah, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, Spotify. We download. And I keep saying we, and it really means me. And then yesterday I didn't do it. I downloaded it, but then I didn't edit it, and I have to shift 5 frames for audio sync. It's a pain. And then I put it up online, and I did that this morning. So yesterday's episode is available now. But you're here, so that's irrelevant. But I generally am pretty good about putting it up the same afternoon before I leave to go somewhere else. Please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are. It really helps us out. It helps tell people that we have stuff to say that's important. And really, the story is this. We are here to answer your traffic and police questions. And I say we because momentarily, Sergeant Campbell will be joining me on camera. And later on in the show, he will leave. And Aaron Urquhart will join in his place. And that's exciting. Not that he's leaving and she's joining us, but that we're going to have people to talk with. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like having a co-host. It makes the day go nice. Northern Pike was the first person in the room. Says, good morning, Sean, and everyone. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. And I hope you do too. We have Chase with a good morrow. Greetings and salutations from Akela. Thank you for that email, by the way, Akela. I hope you got the response. Who says no sound? Akela says no sound? I think we have sound. Please confirm. Okay. We have here, that was a no sound message, but yes, thanks for that message. Good tune, Sean. I'm glad that Northern Pike has sound. It was able to hear it. Okay. Achilles, this is just me. Julie Massey says, good morning, Sean, and everyone out there. It's always nice when the messages are to all. I like that. It's community. We're all about community. Akela's coming by on Friday with him, he and his son. That's awesome. It is awesome. Akela, that's going to be your 3rd Honda Indy, I think, with me there. I'm going to have the golf cart out again. Going to clamp up some cameras, give you some behind the scenes, drive around the paddocks, and show you what's going on. We'll definitely be doing live streaming from the event. Solid Archer 2000 says, "You're awesome." Solid Archer, you're awesome too. Thank you very much. Northern Pike says, "Happy 80th, Sean. Good job with the show you have here. I look forward to it every day." Northern Pike, thank you very much. Much appreciated. We've got a great group of people who come here on a regular basis and participate in the show as the audience. But the audience is the show, because if you don't ask us questions, we don't have to talk about anything. There's nothing to talk about. That's not cool. We want to answer your traffic and police questions. We're all about it. Let's see here. I'm just checking again to see if, no, Twitter is really not working. At least not where traffic services. That's okay. We'll work around it. We'll make it work. Speaking of which, before I talk about any other stuff and things, I want to mention the fine folks at Vision Zero Enforcement Team. They go out every single day and try and change driver behavior. That's the whole point of what we do when we go out and issue tickets. See, we are pulling people over for breaking the law. We're looking for people who are, in particular, breaking the big four. People who are speeding, driving aggressively, driving distracted, driving impaired, because we know that serious injury and death are the results of those behaviors. And their options, their choices. I got to mention this. Yesterday, somebody was all upset about something I said online. It happens a lot. I upset people on a regular basis, and I'm okay with that. I had a boss once that said if he's not upsetting people at least a few times a day, he's not doing his job. But this person said, stunt driving equals cash grabs. My response was, stunt driving equals irresponsible drivers who should lose their driving privileges. I don't understand why police enforcing laws makes us bad. The bad is the people who are breaking the law and putting lives at risk, making communities unsafe through their choices. Don't want a ticket, don't break the law. Of course, the whole goal of our show here is to let you know what the laws are. So if you know, you might make better decisions. You might avoid those tickets. And very often, laws are confusing, so we try and make it simple. We try and explain them. But let's first tell you where Vision Zero is spending their time today. Today, they will be spending time in 12 Division and 33 Division. It's Weston, Mount Dennis, Rockcliffe, Smythe, Lawrence Park, Young, Eglinton, Rosedale, Leaside. Those are neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe. Oh, yeah. And just more on people being upset with me. If you don't already spend time on TikTok listening or reading, I should say, the comments to videos that I post, it is truly entertaining. It is easy to be engaged on social media if it's having conversations with people who are thoroughly frustrated with you. There's a lot of people who love us and say great things, but man, do people come out of the woodwork to complain about getting tickets. But again, who is to blame for the tickets you receive? I am only but a scribe, recording the what's you did. The what's you did. I'm having too much fun today. Okay, I got a dad joke from Michaela. Ahmed, have you ever issued a ticket to a green vehicle with a blue plate in the HOV? I have not, and I'll tell you why. I don't police the HOV lanes. Even when the HOV lanes were in play, Toronto doesn't have green. We don't have HOV lanes that allow for green vehicles. That's for 100 series, so I've never issued them. No. Would I? Yeah, because the green plate is what gives you authority to be in the HOV. And for anyone who's tuning in and has, what are they talking about? Electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, what's the other one? The hydrogen-powered vehicles. There's a number of vehicles that qualify for green plates. If you have a green plate, you have authority to use HOV lanes with only one occupant, the driver alone. If you get a customized plate, a vanity plate, it's blue, not green. And then you can't use the HOV lanes because the authority comes from the plate, not the vehicle. Yes, you have an EV. Yes, you qualify for green plates, but no green plate means no play in the HOV. Yeah. Level 50, 100% love. Well, thank you very much. 100% is, you can't get better than that. What is this? I'm scared to read the rest of this. This is kind of a shower thought from me. If passengers can't drink in a motor vehicle, even a partitioned one like a limo, how are airplanes exempt? Highway Traffic Act doesn't apply to planes? I don't know. I don't police the skies, my friend, but if I did, I'd have an answer for you. That's a great question, though. not because it applies to anything we do here, but it's a great question because I've never thought of it that way. And I like thinking of things from other perspectives. Chase always comes up with the unique perspectives and shares them freely here on the show. Paulie B says, morning all, stay dry and especially safe. Couldn't agree with you more. Thanks so much for the well wishes. I could hear the rain smashing down on our roof. It sounds like every fan spinning above you, but it's not. It's the roof and the rain, and it was quite intense. I saw some video of Lakeshore yesterday, and it looked suboptimal and partially submerged. It was amazing. Like, I had video elsewhere where people are canoeing down streets. Love it, love it. No, I love it because I wasn't in it. I can't imagine it would be good. Really, Akela, Akela says only his second time attending the Indy. This will be his second Indy. I give you credit for so much more. I assumed you'd been there the year before. Maybe it was Michael who had been to 2 before, and I've switched you. Let's see here. Can I pass on a double solid yellow line? Well, that's really a personal question. I put up an old video. I reposted it talking about being topless while driving. Jeep topless. But the deal is, can you? It depends. Is there a charge for crossing a double yellow line? No. There's no charge in Ontario. Other provinces, yes. Ontario, no. So could you be charged? You could be charged, but not for crossing the line, for doing something silly. Now, oddly enough, on my way to work this morning, on a 2-lane back road, someone decided to pass multiple cars across the line. And we're talking a long stretch of road, and this dum-dum just drove beside us. Wasn't really speeding. I mean, I was doing the speed limit. They were not really speeding in that they were just barely overtaking us, but they drove for a prolonged period of time into oncoming traffic. Thus, actually, there was no oncoming traffic. But the part that really got me was that once they passed us, they just kept going the speed limit, which is good from the perspective of doing the speed limit. But why did they pass? Why did they do something that silly to only get to the red light first by milliseconds and then wait to make a turn? I actually made my turn and kept going because I made a right on a red and they were waiting to make a left. Like, it's just completely silly. Yeah. So if you're crossing a double yellow line, can you get a ticket if you're carelessly driving, dangerously driving, causing a collision, all those things? Anything you do once you've crossed the line, that's on you. And yeah, you can receive charges for that. I see your dad joke, Akela, marked it for later. Is smoking while driving legal? Christian Hernandez wants to know. I like the yellow contrast in your picture. It really pops. But the answer to the question is, if we're talking about cigarettes, I'm still shocked that people still use those. It's not illegal if you're not in a work vehicle and you're not driving with passengers under the age of 16, because the Ontario, was the Smoke-Free Ontario Act. That's what it's called. Smoke-Free Ontario Act allows for you to, or I should say doesn't allow you to smoke if you have passengers under the age of 16. So if you're talking about smoking marijuana, obviously that's drugs, and you can be charged for consuming them, having them open, having it available, similar to that of having opening alcohol in your vehicle. Hope that helps. Got more questions from that? Let me know. If you don't already follow the show, please do follow, like, subscribe, depending on what platform you're on, wherever you are on. Hey, you're not Sergeant Campbell. Sarge said he was coming in and then you were coming, but come on in. He said the first 10 minutes. He's already 17 minutes late. He must have. Policing is a thing that changes. You say you're going to be there, and then, wee woo, things happen. Aaron Urquhart joining the show. Got a microphone for you. I'll turn up the level for you. Tim Shallow, hello. I put you on the screen, and I totally ignored you. Aaron Urquhart, how are you, Aaron?
Good. How are you?
I can't complain. I am. This is the last show before we get into the Honda Indy Motor. Are you going to be working the Honda Indy at all?
I will not be. No, I am on annual leave after
yes.
this week.
Well, Friday is a day.
Friday, I'm also leaving early.
Of course you are.
Because I'm starting my vacation early this weekend.
Nice. Well, don't tell us where you are because people will change their plans to meet you there. But we look forward to hearing about where you went after you return.
Well, it'll be out of the city. I'll give you a clue. So there you
Okay,
go.
that's a good clue. And that's a good place to be.
Yes.
When everything is going on in the city, lots of concerts, lots of major events. Any parking advice for people coming down to the city this weekend?
If you can take transit, take
See,
transit.
now Sergeant Campbell arrived.
Yeah.
Phone rang.
See, the phone
Literally
rang. Well, we got room. We can have another chair. We'll scooch over. We got lots of
scooch
chairs.
in.
Just got to share a microphone because I took it.
Oh.
We weren't using the third microphone, so I put it away. I can pull
It's
that.
okay. You usually get more questions for you guys, anyways. So I'm just here.
So, and you
yeah.
look. Well, you're not on camera.
Hey,
You
that's off
You gotta
camera.
really you gotta really move in to get on camera. There you go.
There we go.
Just to let you know, this is the 81st Ask a Traffic Cop of the year.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It is wild. That's at least 81 hours. At least 81 hours of content.
Yeah, you're always more than an hour.
That's why I say at
You
least.
squirrel and go off.
I want to help the people. Let's see here. We got dad jokes for later. What's this one? We were talking. I was asked this. I didn't have an answer. I didn't have an affirmative. Have you ever ticketed a green vehicle with blue plates in the HOV? We don't really police the HOV. We don't have any HOVs that are green plate designated. So
No, that's more of a provincial highway one. The green
Yeah.
plate one doesn't even apply on Don Valley Parkway or anything.
right. Well, this is why I didn't have an affirmative. I've never ticketed a blue plated green plate qualifying vehicle. It's an OPP jurisdiction.
Right, but it does upset me when I'm abiding by the rules and other people are.
And I can't get over how many people break those rules. It's quite wild. Very often, I mean, people use it as a passing lane. Today, someone drove next to me in oncoming traffic to pass me, only to wait at the red light in front of me.
Like, wave at them and say, "Hey, I got here."
They had very tinted windows. I couldn't see inside the vehicle because I wanted to give them a stern look, and I was hoping they were seeing me and receiving that stern look. But I think they were protected by their tinted windows.
The stern look.
Yes.
Yes. That's your
I was
version of road rage.
No, I wasn't stern enough to be rageful, but I was definitely unimpressed. I don't know if we have a possible maybe could be moderator today, but we don't. He didn't log in.
He is having troubles.
Okay. Was he the phone call?
He's crinkling over with.
Tech support, and I wasn't able to help you.
Okay. I think I know how to help him, but I can't do it while I'm on camera. Okay. What do we
I can
got?
pass along a message.
Well, it's the top right-hand corner where you choose teams,
Yep.
and then you choose the Ask a Traffic Cop.
Want me to go tell him?
So we have a Star Wars cop in the building. If you don't know who Star Wars cop is, where have you been? But the deal is that Star Wars cop transferred to traffic services, and at some point we may even get Peter to be on the show. But so far he's looking to learn how to moderate.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. What's this? Never been in a collision before, but want to make sure I'm prepared. That's Allison. Was there a question from Allison before the statement of, is that why you're here? Like you want to be prepared for the collision? Yeah, definitely avoiding the collision is the way to go. By the way, the Aaron Urquhart sitting next to me is a parking enforcement officer. If you have questions about parking in the city of Toronto, this would be a good time to ask them.
Yes.
Because you know stuff and things about that.
I might know a thing or two.
A ting or two. What is the difference between a traffic cop and a cop? That's a very good question. Let's throw that question. Did that work for you?
No, still having problems.
Oh,
Okay, it's not meant to be.
Technical difficulties.
Another day.
Okay.
No Star Wars cop today. So the question is, what is the difference in designation between a traffic cop and a cop?
The difference in designation, I guess it's just where we work.
It's the office where we hang our hats. We are exactly the same thing. We're all police officers. We all go to the same police college. In fact, many of us don't start in traffic. We go to police divisions. We work as regular cops doing regular stuff, and then we specialize in traffic.
Yeah, just like we have the mounted unit or the police dog unit, they specialize in one aspect of policing where they can become really, really proficient at it and have special tools to get the job done. That's the same as traffic. We are traffic officers. We're all trained traffic investigators, and we all have our own little specialties that makes us very good at what we do here. I haven't been to a bar fight or a domestic in a while.
In a
so-
while. Yeah, nor have I. Well, I haven't gone to anything in a while, but I miss the road, and I even missed to some degree divisional policing because it's a very different way of helping people. We do a lot of people throw shade our way as traffic officers and say, we're just tax collectors, but there's not a lot of thought that goes into those comments because if they unpacked it all, they'd realize that we are really working to help people, regular people, everyday people, stay safe.
Yeah, everybody at some point uses a roadway or a sidewalk. Everybody at some point is involved with a vehicle or has interactions with the vehicles. We want those interactions to be the safest it can be. And sometimes we do that by proactive enforcement.
Absolutely, because changing behavior might not, it may not feel like you were about to hurt someone now, but when you build those bad habits and bad things happen later, it could be my family member, your family member, we want to protect people.
And like Aaron does.
And that's something I was going to say.
Yes.
People don't give parking enforcement enough credit. On behalf of all people, thank you to you, the representative of all parking people. You keep the city moving. I can't
Try.
imagine what would happen if you didn't show up.
Honest. Here, I'm gonna you can hear me, right? Yeah. Okay, you can hear me. Yeah. No. Well, I always refer back to the COVID times because again, it was a time where the city was shut down. There was nothing going on, so we weren't really needed. But we were still working. But then when the city did slowly start opening up and businesses were opening and the traffic was getting more intense in the downtown, the calls kept coming in more and more and more. When are you guys going to start enforcing? When are you going to start enforcing? What? And I was surprised. I was like, wow, people even want residential street parking done because when more people are out and about and cars are everywhere, no one can get anywhere, and it falls into rush hour. Not even in the downtown core, citywide. In the West End, in the North End, the South End, the downtown core, everywhere. That's why we do enforce those bylaws is to help the turnover of the traffic everywhere to keep the city moving.
Well, one, people want to be able to get to where they have to go, and if someone's
Exactly.
just leaving their junk, and I say junk in a lovingly way, referring to their car, in a place, and that, whether they're paying or not paying is irrelevant. They're just taking up space and leaving it. Very often, leaving it, blocking other people from getting in or out wherever they have to be, closing off. I mean, it really is important. But again, people don't like getting tickets, so that makes you automatically not nice.
It's always my fault that someone parked their car there, right? And the people just blame the first person they usually see, which tends
You.
to be the officer, right?
Well, and because you're very often on bicycle or walking, you're a slow moving target to hate on.
Well, that's why I like the bike. I can get out of there fast.
Do you go after red cars more? Now that could be a question for parking or for police officers. I don't care what color the car is. I care what they're doing in the car.
Yeah. I think red cars were synonymous with sports cars back in the day.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I don't think.
I think the
Actually,
black
this-
cars go faster. That's why I always bought black motorcycles because they go faster.
Is that true?
That was whenever I bought a new vehicle, they said they told me that, and I always bought black motorcycles.
I heard that black cars look better in the shade.
This is true, and nobody watching knows what we're talking about.
Nope.
What was the name of the artist?
Gino Vanelli.
That's it.
I have no idea.
See,
You're too young.
I know.
really? Wow. Okay. Somebody's talking about citizens' arrests, and they're all in caps, so I have to ignore it.
Why are you yelling?
Who?
Stop being
Them,
so-
yes. What's this? I've had a good experience with officers. Attitude makes a big difference. Be respectful. It's a job. Are you talking about us or them?
I was going to say it goes both ways.
It does
Yeah.
go both ways. I've rarely had to be in a situation that I haven't been able to talk my way out of in terms of de-escalation when dealing with someone who was irate in the beginning. I remember even when I was with my coach officer, we went to a call, and this guy. Long story short, guy wakes up because before we got there he'd been knocked out. He woke up and he just didn't like my partner. And I said nothing. I was the new guy. I said nothing. And he's yelling at my partner. He's calling him all sorts of names. And then he took a step towards my partner, which caused me to take a step towards him. But I didn't say anything. And he immediately said to my partner, "Why can't you be polite like him?" It's just anyway. I've had. It is all about attitude. Okay, why aren't y'all cracking down Uber Eats on bikes? I'm reading the small print. Why don't I read the big one? Why aren't y'all cracking down on Uber Eats e-bikes on sidewalks? Oddly enough, that's a topic of discussion lately.
It has become a very strong topic of discussion lately. As we know, certain e-bikes, e-kick scooters, things like that, are not actually allowed anywhere in the city of Toronto. Some are not. But it seems like as soon as somebody else is doing it, everybody just seems to jump on the bandwagon and do it. So, and they're driving them in manners that are putting pedestrians at risk. They're crashing with people. They're crashing with cars.
It's becoming a bigger issue than it has ever been before. Pure numbers of people who don't, and I appreciate this, access to affordable transportation. E-bikes are awesome, and we're on the season where it's less snowy out, so those are more comfortable to operate. And if you're making money and you're reducing the cost of transportation, you're way ahead. So I totally understand the motivation to use these vehicles, but you got to use them safe. And sidewalks, nobody could be using them. So we do, I mean, divisions are out there doing enforcement campaigns and educational campaigns to try and educate these Uber drivers and any rider of an e-bike to stay off the sidewalks, because you can only use a sidewalk if you're on a bicycle in the city of Toronto and under the age of 14. Otherwise, you got to be on the road. And people get confused. And then the e-bike folks that's a whole different element, because you have to be 16 to start to ride one. And they should never be on the sidewalk.
Right. But their argument that I've heard before is, well, it's not safe to be on the road, so I have to be on the sidewalk. But that changes it because they're now putting the pedestrians in danger for their actions. So where does it end? Do the pedestrians now have to go out on the road because it's not safe to be on the sidewalk because of the e-bikes? The
truth is, it is what you make of it in terms of there's a way to ride safely. And you can wear. I'm going to say this: you can wear bright clothing. You can be visible. You can do it to the state of the right. You can use the bike lanes that are there for your protection, and you do the best you can do.
And there are fantastic bike riders, e-bike riders in the city.
Oh yeah,
there are people that are interacting with others safely and efficiently, and it works. The problem is not everybody does it that way.
So funny you bring this up. I was tagged in a comment on Twitter yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, but I saw it yesterday. And this conversation was discussing a video where 30 out of 31 cars rolled the stop sign. And this cyclist was basically saying, you all claim that bike riders don't stop. Look at these cars. We're not the bad ones. And I said, and they basically said that I suggest it's always cyclists, not cars, but everyone's breaking the law. That's why we need enforcement.
Right.
And I did a video a couple of years back where I sat at an intersection and watched it. And the stop means one thing. There is no almost stop. The rolling stop isn't a stop. It is not stopping. So we need to remind people what the rules are. And that's what enforcement is.
It is not stoptional.
No, but I do like the word. I used to call that for the ones on parking lots in malls. Stoptionals. Because it's not enforceable on private property. Anyway, that was a rabbit hole. I often find on back roads it's 80. Most people go 100. As you enter town, it immediately drops to 50. So if I'm slowing down a bit too late, I get the same fine as someone going 90 in a school zone.
Yep.
Yes. When you pass that line, when you pass that sign, the speed has changed. You have to have changed your speed prior to entering that speed zone.
So don't go 100. So you slow down in time.
That is a good plan.
If the speed limit is 80, go 80.
You know,
if it becomes 50, we go on 50.
I'm shocked at the whole speeding thing, because if you get climatized to doing the right thing, to driving the appropriate speed, it becomes normal. It becomes acceptable. If you're used to doing 80 and a 50, 50 feels slow. If you're used to doing 50 and a 50, 50 feels fine. Like I drive through community zones and I'm always worried about my speed. I don't want to be speeding at all. And because I'm so used to driving the speed limit, I'm doing the speed limit and it feels appropriate, almost to the point where it feels like I'm going too fast. It's a weird, because I go slow, this now 50 instead of a 30, which is what I'm used to in Toronto inside roads, 50 feels fast.
I honestly believe it is the group mentality that everybody else is doing it, so you start doing it, it becomes normal. I just recently came back from the East Coast in Canada on a motorcycle ride. And people actually do the speed limit there.
Crazy.
On the highways, they do the speed
Wow.
limit. On the back roads, they do the speed limit. In town, they do the speed limit. And everybody does it. So everybody thinks that's normal.
Well,
We need to change that here.
I think people take advantage of the fact that there aren't enough police all the time to take care of everything, and they don't see it. If they don't see it, that means police don't exist. We're so busy with calls that there are fewer people out there doing the stops for. Like, we focus on different things. We focus on the big speeds. We focus on the really aggressive driving. So someone doing 20 over probably gets away with it. They think it's normal, and that makes it the unofficial speed limit. But that's not okay. Wait. So the carpool lane is only for green plates now? I'm confused.
The carpool lane on provincial highways is for multi-passengers,
2 or more.
motorcycles,
Solo.
green-plated vehicles,
Solo.
and taxis, but not Ubers, I believe.
Right, because taxis are taxis and Ubers are not taxis.
Right.
They're just share vehicle, regularly plated. So yeah, and there's some other stuff. Airport limos have designation there. There's a couple of things. I believe buses have the same designation. It depends, but definitely carpool lanes are multi-passenger requirements.
And yep, there is a benefit for operating a green-plated vehicle.
Yes, because you get that bonus. And I considered buying an electric car for that reason alone. Or you have to rent a friend.
Right.
Either way. It's the reason I have children. They qualify, by the way. Furry ones don't.
I was about to say dogs don't.
Yes, it's unfortunate. Many people were upset about that. Can I land a plane on a freeway? Do you have a plane? Jake, do you?
It's actually an offense
Sorry.
under the Highway Traffic Act
Really?
and I believe it is to not expeditiously clear the highway of your airplane.
So
I'm
if
going to say if you need to land a plane,
there's other issues, you'll take the ticket?
yes.
If you're
Yeah.
don't do it for fun. Okay.
Let me have a look. I'll
We'll circle back to
you there.
Jake. Who said you can't drink in a limo? Howie Do It wants to know.
The Liquor License Act says you can't.
Yeah.
The Highway Traffic Act says you can.
Yeah.
I say you can't.
Yeah. That's 3.
How about you,
I double down on that. You can't.
Aaron? What do you think?
I would say no.
You're gonna go with no. Yeah, you can't drink in a limo. You can't have open alcohol in a motor vehicle. That's a motor vehicle. And who you're really putting at risk, the biggest risk, is the driver. And many limos, and I've had conversations with people in the industry, and they're like, we just pray that we don't get stopped when people do what they want, because they come in with this belief. There's a bar inside in the limo. It comes with the bar. There's an assumption that it's okay. People do what they want, but they shouldn't be. They're putting that driver at risk. So that's the answer. What else we got here? Can my passenger drink alcohol in the car right beside me? We're going to go with no, based on the last question and answer. No open alcohol, no, and there's other charges. So if they have alcohol, but it's not in reach of the driver, it's one charge. If it is in reach of a driver, it's another charge. Open alcohol in general is a charge to the person who's holding it. Like, there's a bunch of different charges they qualify for.
Circling back,
There
is a section 187 sub 1 of the Highway Traffic Act. After your plane has made an emergency landing on a highway, you have to clear it if the pilot is physically capable off the roadway as soon as possible.
What if the vehicle is not capable?
Well, I'm going to say maybe a small aircraft, you'd be able to push it off.
Is it the same as
Depends on what
carpool?
kind of emergency, I guess.
Yeah, and if you want to take off again, there's certain conditions you have to set in place before you take off again. So there's a ticket for unlawfully taking off.
Okay. I'm going to try and avoid that. I did want to get my license, my pilot's license at one point. I thought that was kind of a cool thing. And I was told way, way, way back that after flying in a 4-seater Cherokee, that it's beneficial to have an American pilot's license versus a Canadian or international, because each jurisdiction has different rules, and you cannot fly out at night with certain licenses, but Americans can. They can do what they want.
Oh, wow.
Do what they want, apparently. Let's see here. Good morning, Sean and all. I'm preparing food for an event, so can't stay. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Brandon, again, jealous because Brandon's always cooking something that sounds yummy.
what are we having?
What are you preparing? I want to know. I probably don't want to know. Anonymous. But I thought open container wasn't a highway traffic act. Isn't that criminal code? So even a plane is in that category. Okay, we're talking about being able to fly with open alcohol. Because the question earlier was, how come you can fly with people drinking in the back, but not? Yeah, I was in a similar thing. We don't police the skies. I don't know. I haven't got my pilot's license. I don't know. Sometimes I acknowledge stupid questions. This is one of them.
Okay.
Is it acceptable to take 10 shots of tequila before driving?
That doesn't sound like a problem at all, does it?
Well, because they're not impaired in that moment, because they haven't ingested it. It hasn't actually gone through the system. They haven't felt the effects, but very quickly thereafter, they're going to. They're going to have a lot of mouth alcohol.
Yep.
And very shortly thereafter, they're going to have a lot of blood alcohol level. So bad idea. Now, if the 10 shots are from a guy named Tequila who's punching you in the face, we probably have the same effects in about 10 minutes.
Yep. Actually, quicker.
Don't do that. Let's see here. Chase P says, I thought open container was Liquor License Act.
Yep, like we said.
Correct, yes. That particular charges. But there's other elements of it. What's a prohibited firearms license? Well, there isn't really a prohibited firearms license. There's a possession acquisition license, and you can have a PAL or an RPAL. And the restricted allows you to have firearms that are under a certain length. There are different types that are restricted. If you owned a restricted that was then taken off the list and was now prohibited, in some cases you are grandfathered and given a designation to continue to own that with conditions. But there's you can't go apply for a prohibited firearms license.
Right, because they're prohibited.
Prohibited.
That's what makes...
That's why the word is
prohibited.
There. Yes.
Restricted means it's restricted to certain people that may have taken special courses on their safe handling, things like that, as opposed to a regular firearms license, where once again you go into not such an in-depth training course. But restricted is restricted.
Now, there are people who are allowed to have prohibited devices, and those are police officers or military. Those are prohibited devices, and they have specific rules surrounding them. For instance, there are articles that we use as police officers that are prohibited for the general public to have. Interesting stuff. Brandon says, have you ever helped Buford T. Justice in his pursuit of the bandit? And you know who that is? Not a clue.
Really? Some of my favorite movies. The first two, anyways. The last one was kind of...
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes. Kind of hokey.
Well, they all eventually you run out of things to write. So this person, the legend, 420. So that's marijuana. Rickster. I'm assuming the 420 is 420 is a reference to marijuana.
Yep.
So you were speeding in the first place, Mr. Bald Cop. I don't know the reference.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
Maybe about something we were talking about earlier.
I think they possibly they got high on their own supply. It makes no sense. I have no idea what they're talking about. Let's see here. I got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket that says parking in private property, but online park in accessible. So you got a ticket for parking in an accessible spot, maybe, possibly?
Well, you could always contest it with the city or appeal it. The options are on the back of the ticket, but it could be you parked on private property in an accessible spot. So, yeah, I would have to, I don't know. I didn't ticket you for that, so I would have to see it.
Can you hold it to the screen so we can see it, please?
Yeah, so I would appeal it, or I would ask the city, be like, hey, I don't know. How much was the fine? That's what I would like to know. Because if it was $450, then yeah, that's an accessible spot on private property. And you know what? I've rarely ticketed on private property for accessible spots, and that's the only time that we can actually go on private property without getting like consent.
Permission, yeah.
is to check those accessible spots.
You have a special team that focuses on that, right?
Yes, yes, they're called the Disabled Liaison Unit. But yeah, that's interesting. I would contest and see what's up.
Get more information at the very
Yes.
least. I often see many people driving over 120 kilometers an hour on Highway 407. Is that legal? No. No. Driving 101 kilometers an hour. I don't think the 407 is being increased to 110, or
No.
so that would be illegal at 101.
And a lot of places in our province, a lot of highways actually have been increased to 110.
I noticed that actually coming back from Paris, Ontario this weekend, that
Yep.
a lot of them were changed to 110.
And it's great if you can do 110. The problem is people don't do 110 and 110s. They do 130 and 110s because 20 over seems to be the unofficial, permitted,
Cut off
acceptable.
before you become.
It's the belief that you're safe at that point. But I've seen videos on TikTok where people are being pulled over for 120 and they're upset. Like, how dare you pull me over for 120? Everybody goes 120. Didn't you get the memo? Like,
Yep, there you go.
The knife of that guy. Yeah. I don't understand why people believe that speeding's okay.
I'm actually shocked that they didn't raise the speed limit on the 407 to
Well,
110.
people believe that is the Autobahn, the Canada Autobahn.
Canada?
Yeah,
407?
I don't know. Without permit, can I dispute this? And what is this? And will I win? So that's the second half of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know enough. We
Oh.
don't know enough about your ticket.
Yeah.
What's the fine for windshield tint? That one is always good.
Depends.
Well, yeah, it does depend.
No clear view, $110. Unsafe motor vehicle, no set fine, no license plates, and a tow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Having any tints on your windshield makes your vehicle unsafe according to the light truck and passenger vehicle inspection guide. That would give us the support to deem your vehicle to be unsafe, take your plates, and get you towed to wherever you're going because you can't drive it where you're going. Many people are pulling the tint off their vehicle to allow us to not tow their vehicle or to prevent us from towing it because at that point it's not unsafe anymore. And then you just get the $110 ticket for obscuring the interior of your vehicle or obstructing the driver's view. Another
You still
$110.
could get the unsafe.
Yeah, that's true.
They may not tow your vehicle away or may not seize your license plates. But at some point you were driving a vehicle that was unsafe.
At the time, yes. That's another thing that people seem to confuse. Like, if you don't surrender your license, can you do it? Can you go to the station 24 hours later and show that you had your license at home? Well, the offense occurred when you failed to surrender it, not when you showed up 24 hours later. Like, there's a disconnect. People don't understand.
Yeah, but that used to be a thing here in Toronto.
Yes,
The
and it's
48-hour reports, before my time, there was 48 hours that you could bring your documents in to the police station to show it.
but that's before computers existed.
That's exactly what that was for. That was before we could actually check and see if you were valid or not valid.
Let's see here. What is his answer to the blue EV question? Oh, we talked about this already. I don't know why we're still talking about that.
Have I laid a ticket? Is that what it is?
That must
EV?
be. Have you ever actually laid it?
A blue EV. So an EV with a
Blue plate because they've got a vanity plate.
Why would they have a blue plate?
Because they got vanity. They wanted a vanity plate, so they gave up their green plate permissions.
Still has the same designation as
Electric vehicle.
No, it still has the same designation on the permit as an electric vehicle, as a green plated vehicle.
Wouldn't it change though when you get your blue plate?
If you have a vanity plate on a pickup truck,
Yeah.
it is still a commercially plated vehicle, just with a blue plate.
So that would give it the authority to be there?
So if your vehicle is a green designated vehicle, the permit designates it as green, but the plates that you were issued just don't look green.
Well, you've upset my
still-
whole reality
It's still a green.
because you're giving up the green plate. Like the green plate's what gives you. Okay,
Many
hey,
years ago,
I may have to go delete a whole bunch of videos.
many years ago, I had a pickup truck that I put a personalized plate on.
Yeah.
It was still designated a pickup truck. It still had
Yeah.
a commercial permit issued to it. It had exactly the same exemptions and allowances that a pickup truck did. I just displayed a personalized plate on it.
I'm interested to know if that. Oh, Fleet's calling.
Fleet?
Fleet.
Oh, they're saying your car's ready.
Is it? Let's see. Hello, Fleet. You're live on the internet. How's it going? We're live streaming. What's cooking? Yeah. Is everything good?
On that note,
Oh, sweet.
I have a meeting to go to.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, thanks
So,
for joining.
We'll do.
You keep going
Okay,
with
thank
what
you.
you're doing. You're doing an awesome job. Try and keep
A
him
lot
in
of us,
line.
a
on that.
Yeah.
lot, a lot of sitting
Command post. We're good to go.
Excellent. Have you mentioned the
Honda Indy? Oh, yeah. We've been talking about this a lot lately, but we'll come to Honda Indy for 1 second. Friendly Farm says, what can I do about my father's driving over 130 to 165 on the highway? How do you stop your father from breaking, the law?
Well, at 165, we'll certainly stop.
Well, if we catch them, if we see them, I mean, how would you motivate a family member to be safe behind the wheel?
Shame them.
Tell them
Shame
you'll snitch
them.
on them.
Well, here's one thing: you have to advocate for yourself as a passenger. So don't be in the vehicle. Tell them I'm not going to drive with you, which is tough because that might mean walking a lot. But there's nothing really. You can't call Crime Stoppers and say my dad speeds. That doesn't work so good. Who's this? Joe says, you're a super guy, Mr. Shapiro, but why would you have not pulled them over and gave them a ticket? I don't know what we're talking about.
Probably one you were talking about this morning on your way into work.
Oh, the dodo this morning. Well, because I'm in my personal vehicle, I've got no lights and siren. I've got no firearm on my hip. I've got no body armor or uniform. I don't have a ticket. But if that's what we're talking about, why I didn't stop the dodo this morning, it just wouldn't have been safe or appropriate. If I thought they were impaired, I would have followed them. I would have called it into a local police service, and I would have had them, pull them over and based on my evidence laid a charge. But that wasn't appropriate. They didn't appear they weren't all over the road. They just made one really bonehead choice. Yeah, they probably went to pass one, not realizing there were two, and then it got weird for them. Let's see here. How do I legalize a horse? Bon cop, bad cop. That's too funny. That's a movie. I saw the movie. I was going to click on something else before a whole bunch of the other stuff flew into my screen. Hang on a second. Trying to scroll up. Scrolling. Ba-ba-doo. What do we hear? Boom, boom, boom. Trying to read through some stuff that really isn't for me. What is this? My white bike was really fast. I guess any bike can be fast. In that case, should all places citizens... Oh, yeah. That was an accidental click. What is this?
Seems like there's a lot of people trolling.
We always have trolls. Always have trolls. Trolls make the world go around. If we didn't have trolls, who would we make fun of? Okay. Oh my God! Please let me know if underglow under my car is illegal. Please. It can be if your underglow is projecting outwards, like the bulb is visible. If I can see it projecting forward, that can get you a ticket for headlights, improper headlights, a bunch of different things. Ultimately, if it's only illuminating the ground beneath you, it's probably okay, and it shouldn't be overpoweringly bright. You can be charged for underglow. It's just not specifically illegal. We need you guys in Fredericton, New Brunswick. It's free for all here with traffic circles. Really? We need more police everywhere. A lot of people don't like that, but what is this? But we do. We need more police. Oh, there's the trolls.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a second. Apparently, I was going to be in here and we had a moderator. I wasn't even set up to moderate because we had all this help
I think
coming
someone
in.
needs to be blocked.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Let's see here. Just going to go into my moderator account. Stand by.
I don't have my phone. I left it on my desk. Also, I'm still a moderator. I still have the privileges to kick you out or block you.
There we go. We'll wait for them.
For
We'll wait. These are dated. Maybe they gave up and left, or maybe
no.
not.
They're still there. They're still going. If we're looking at the same name,
they're now gone. That's a good way to get blocked. Just motivate me enough until I pick up my phone and hit the button because it was very difficult to block. I had to go boop. Okay. What do we got here? Is no catalytic converter. We're Where'd it go? What is this? It's coming in too quick. Okay, we'll go to flag stuff. We'll have to take a pause on this. Okay, we got the Sean, my boy, how's it going? That's from Daniel. Things are good. We talked about the plane on the runway. E-bikes. Talked about, what is this question? E-bikes driving on the road, passing cars and driving reckless. What's the cops' authority when stopped? Their vehicles. You can charge them with careless driving. All these charges, there's a whole bunch of charges they're eligible for. And they have their bicycles, and bicycles are vehicles, and vehicles have to comply with the rules of the road. There's certain charges that don't apply to them, but heck, if they're going real fast, they are motor vehicles again. You can lay all the charges on them. So we have the same authority as we do with bicycles and motor vehicles. We're police. They have to stop. Now, do we focus on them if they're driving the way you're suggesting? And we do stop them, and we do charge them. Lane splitting for motorcycles, is it legal, I guess you're asking? And it's not legal. It's going to be either careless driving, it's going to be stunt driving, or criminal dangerous driving, depending on what we're observing. And this person really, the friendly farm we already talked to. I like this one. It's too bad I didn't press the button before the sergeant left. Do officers have a ticket quota for a month? And quite frankly, we don't. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but it's one of the most common questions. Do we have a quota? And no, and nor do we get a bonus if we write a lot of them. So I always wrote as many as I could because it's like a video game for me. Pew, 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 pew. It's high score, right? I am that guy that goes out and I see all of the offenses because I know what they all are, and I write tickets for all of them. So if I get 10 feet from the front of the building and I start writing tickets, I may not get much further because people continue to break similar laws in similar areas, I find.
Yeah, there's hot spots. for
Yeah,
sure.
and sometimes I'll try and put the blinders on so I can get to a different corner to give it attention. But wherever I find the ticket is where I write the ticket. We talked about that already. Sean, tough question. It's raining this morning. I've realized that I rarely see pulled over cars in the rain. Not a tough question. It's often dangerous to stop people in the rain for certain offenses. Like if you're speeding in the rain, I'm going to try and pull you over safely. But very often when people tend to run or do things, that turns into a collision. So we have to be very careful about when we're doing certain things. Also, standing outside with a laser is going to be very wet and interfere with our signal. So we're probably not doing a lot of speed enforcement with laser because of the way we operate that particular device. We're probably going to be using, it has a rain mode, but I'm probably not standing outside in the rain getting soaked to do it. But I use moving radar inside the car. I absolutely pull people over in the rain for different things, just different opportunities. Got to be smart. It's chess, not checkers. And just the super downpour, we're probably stuck on collision calls. Like it's you do enforcement when it's appropriate and safe. I know it sounds crazy because when people are being unsafe, that's when you want to stop them. But it has to be safe for everybody, including the police officer. Okay, TFC. Oh, here we go. TFC fans park in my neighborhood during games, taking up street parking spots. How do I report?
So you can always report online. You can go to the Toronto Police website or even just go on Google and type in Toronto parking complaint. The website will come up right there. I believe it's like TPS.core or something. I don't know it off by heart, but I know there is a link to on the actual Toronto Police website. You can also always call. You can call the non-emergency line and just request parking enforcement. There's multiple options and methods of reporting.
But what is the law say about that? Like, can I just park on any side street near an event?
So it also depends on, I'm assuming you're living close to here around Liberty Village or Parkdale area. And I do know a lot of Parkdale area streets are permit streets. So if it is a enforceable permit area at the time, then we can enforce for the permit, and if not, we can enforce for the 3-hour bylaw. If there's no other signage, that is, meaning the 3-hour bylaw, which is citywide. So yeah, it all depends on the street and what is the bylaw on your street as well. And if they're blocking a driveway, we can always do it for a driveway obstruct.
So it depends on the situation.
Yeah, it depends on the situation.
The sad thing is, if you've chosen to live in an area that has people coming to visit, it's going to get frustrating.
And I do know, like, especially around here, around like Honda Indy, like this weekend, or even when the National Exhibition is going on, we actually, the signs actually on Dufferin Street actually change to no parking like all the time
Oh,
ever,
wow.
and it's strict enforcement just because they need to be clear to, like
Allow traffic to get
allow
through.
traffic to, keep moving. What our job is to help the flow of traffic keep moving.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
What do you do after a minor collision? The truth is you exchange information, you go to a collision reporting center. Unless there's some element of criminality, like you think impaired driving is involved, or they don't have insurance documents, or if it involves a pedestrian or cyclist, it changes there. If you want more information on what to do, you can go to tps.ca. We have a what to do in case of collision page. But the biggest thing is make sure the other person's okay and exchange information. That's the starting point. And then if it's under $2,000 amongst all vehicles, it doesn't have to be reported, but I do suggest reporting it. A lot of people want to avoid the insurance company finding out. What happens is they make a cash deal, and then the other person puts it under insurance anyway, and then you have problems. And very often you think it's under $2,000, but nothing's under $2,000. A scratch on some cars. Have you ever had a tiny itty bitty?
Oh yeah, I'm going through that right now, actually.
Oh, fun! Yay.
Cars in the shop right now. Have a rental. For my doing, I dinged the corner of my parking garage a while ago and I scratched my car up pretty good.
Ouch.
Hurt my pride more than anything, but it happens. But at least it wasn't another car. It was, just a concrete wall, but very expensive.
Walls have feelings too.
Yeah.
Hot Takes wants to know what I can do about having to read the same questions over and over and over again. I live that life. Do you mean reading the questions that you're seeing
The chat? I'm assuming they're in the TikTok chat, and they're probably just like, "What is this?
This is a lot." Yeah.
People be spamming.
What is this? Daniel wants to know PC Shapiro. So I was hoping TPS would allow gifting. And use the proceeds for victims of crime. It is an unfortunate situation. We basically had to work with TikTok to make all government accounts not capable of receiving gifts. I think it's a fantastic idea, but adding money into this scenario overly complicates things. In the very, very beginning, we had an inability to turn off gifting. In fact, there was a manual switch, but if we turned it on, we had no viewers. So we had to work with TikTok to make it so people still saw our content, even though gifting was turned off. And now that it's there, everyone's like, why can't we give you money? I'm like, you know what? Give the money directly. Make a donation to a charity.
Yeah.
Don't do it through us. And you can't. But I appreciate your intention. It's wonderful. Let's see here. I'm going backwards now. We need to disable communications. Why is this person talking? I don't understand what we're talking about. What is the bylaw parking both sides of the road in residential areas?
The bylaw parking both sides of the road.
So some of them are parked on certain months, one side, and it's usually for snow removal,
like
right?
changeover streets. Yeah. What is the bylaw? So yeah, the bylaw is it's meant for street cleaning, snow removal, not just snow removal, but during the fall and whatnot. And it was I've actually researched this because I get this question a lot about changeover streets, if that's what you're referring to. And yeah, it was put in place a while ago to help with the congestion and, like it just said, street cleaning and whatnot. So there's reasons behind it. And you just have to make sure you're reading the signs properly and making sure that you're on the right side of the street on the right date. I know they can be a little confusing, but
why should it make sense?
Yeah. But people who live on those streets, they're usually pretty familiar. And I believe we give a bit of a grace period, up until maybe I don't know, 24 hours or 12 hours up until the changeover actually begins for you to move your car.
This is stuff that I don't worry about.
Yeah.
It's not I'm glad this is not my department because I would lose my mind.
It can be pretty interesting and complex parking enforcement.
Well, it's funny. Somebody made a comment that why are laws so complex and confusing?
Yeah.
And it's because it was written by lawyers. Right? When lawyers write things, they make it so only they understand. It's like code. Because if you make it easy, what do they need you? You don't need them anymore. So this is, how long does the stunt driving suspension stay on your abstract? The suspension, that's a good question. I don't know if insurance companies see a suspension once it's out of service, once it comes off. They see your conviction, which caused the suspension usually. And they see when your status I think they see that the suspension occurred. I don't know. I don't know how long, because I see everything from the day you were born. I see your entire history, even if it's before you get your driver's license. We see your suspension. entirely. And there's an abstract that you can go and apply for and get, and that's everything you've ever done. You see what we see. And then there's what's current, and that's what insurance companies can see. And generally speaking, it's a 3-year from the date of conviction. I don't know if it works for suspensions, though. I think that's sort of a different list. If anybody knows, let me know, because I don't know. What do we got here? Time is now 11:03, so we're already kind of over time. I'm just quickly scanning to look for amazing questions. I have some flagged, but I want other amazing questions. Are there designated units to hide and catch people speeding? Well, we have enforcement cars. We have the Vision Zero enforcement team. They are looking for speeding, aggressive drivers, drivers who drive distracted and impaired. So they're the ones who are focused on that. They don't do anything else. However, anyone can go out with a laser speed enforcement device and do some enforcement. It's not a special unit. But the enforcement unit, the VZET guys and gals, they are that unit for us. You guys should fix the highways. There's lots of spots where water collects and drifts the car. It wouldn't be the police who do it, but I totally agree with you. Yeah, that's something that the province would be responsible
the
for.
City, province.
Oh,
yeah. For
where's your mother wants to know if you're taken?
What?
Could you ask that lady if she's taken? I would say that ring is an indication that yes, taken she is. Just a moment, because how that ring relates to the fact that I want to wish my nephew a happy birthday. He's 10 today.
Oh, double digits. Happy birthday, nephew.
Yes, I would give personal information, but no one needs to start bothering you with stuff.
The internet can be weird.
But just as I was going to say, a very Merry Christmas. No, it's not Christmas. Very happy birthday to you. And I hope you're doing all right. I don't even know if you're awake yet, because it is
it's summer,
it's also a different time zone.
Oh,
they would be possibly still sleeping, so I'll have to send them the clip. But let's see here. What time is it in that their place? 8 a.m. I wouldn't be at 10 years old up at 8 a.m. if I didn't have to.
not in the summer break. No way.
No. Well, when you wake up, I hope you watch a whole hour of traffic garble to know that I wished you a happy birthday on the show. Let's see. He's not watching this, is he? Okay. What do we got? That guy says hi. I can acknowledge that. Hi back. What is this? Oh, here's one about driving in a 4-lane highway with a 5th lane for a turn. So it's not. Is it really I guess it is a highway. It's a 4-lane road. Highway is any road in the province of Ontario. You want to know about, can you pass in the middle 5th lane? So you still have 4 lanes. A turning lane is not classified as a lane. It's a specific spout for turning. So if you're in one of the 2 center lanes, can you overtake vehicles that are in the other lanes? And the answer is, in multi-lane highways, which is where you have multiple lanes going in the same direction, yeah, you can. You can overtake people. Passing is when you are, the no passing on right is specifically for when you're on a 2-lane road scenario and someone's slowing to turn left and you want to go around them. In that situation, you have to have a paved shoulder. It has to be safe to do so. If you're in a multi-lane highway, the 401, for instance, yeah, any lane can go beyond that of the other lanes. But you can't speed at any time. Never allowed to speed. Okay. What is this? They want to say, should I give my ID to a cop who pulled me over and is giving me no reason for pulling me over? Yeah. If you're driving a motor vehicle in the province of Ontario, you are legally obligated to identify yourself. Now, let me give you a couple of scenarios. One, I say I demand your license, ownership, and insurance. If you fail to do that, you don't give me your ID, your driver's license, your permit for a motor vehicle, and your insurance document, proof, whether it be electronic or paper, you get tickets. $110 for your license, $110 for your permit, and $65 for your insurance proof. But that's if you identify yourself verbally or through other means, but don't give me the appropriate documents. If you don't identify yourself, you refuse to tell me who you are, I can arrest you and hold you until such time as I can verify your identity. You can't just drive a motor vehicle and say, I don't want to tell you who I am. It doesn't work. I don't want a game. Don't play. It's silly. And to Con B, who says, just carry a library card, that's not identification. It's not the appropriate identification. And it doesn't mean that it's just not. No, I mean, I appreciate you're giving advice, even though it's bad advice. Yeah, you have to identify. What do I do to become an RCMP? Royal Canadian Mounted Police is what RCMP stands for those who are elsewhere. And the answer is you apply. I'm not with the RCMP. I don't know what their qualifications requirements are. My suggestion would be to go to their website and find out what they need for you to do. Toronto Police, we can talk about that if you want to become a member of the Toronto Police, which is not at all what you're asking, but it is what I'm going to talk about because I have a page to share with you. And oddly enough, there are people who we know on this page. Isn't that weird?
Who's that?
Who's that? tps.ca/careers. That is where you go to get to this page where you get information about becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service. If it's police constable that you're after, click on that particular link and get all that magical information along with a big old apply now button. And a friend of mine just applied, so I know that it works. If you scroll down, it tells you what the requirements are. It tells you what you can expect to be dealing with in terms of requirements and for lifestyle, like the fact that you're going to work shift work. And then you can get into salary and benefits, see how much we make. You start at $68,864 while you're being trained. Not a bad way to be trained. That's many people's salary or more. So it's a fantastic opportunity. And now we're in year 2, I believe, of no cost school.
Yeah.
It's costing people like $15,000 to go to school, and it's no charge right now. I paid back then, I think it was $8,000 or $9,000, maybe $7,000, but free now, which is like a signing bonus.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then your benefits and whatnot. So good stuff here. If you're interested in knowing more, go and check it out. If you're looking for other opportunities like special constable, parking enforcement officer, communications operator, these are all things you can read up on. Auxiliary officer is the best opportunity to volunteer there is. Then you get to look like this chap with a checker band. That's how I started. That's exactly how I started. I had so much fun as an auxiliary officer that I joined as a court officer and then became a police officer later. Now, there are 4 job postings that are civilian category. Internal communications coordinator, intermediate technical analyst in the AV section, communications operator and developer in the digital team. What is the intermediate technical analyst? Okay, 91.5 to 105.5 roughly. Worked at headquarters, it looks like. What do I expect to do here? Work on AV stuff. Look at that. Like it says it in the name. Designs and implements AV to meet our service requirements. There's lots of stuff to do here. Have a diploma in computer science related field. Okay, there's stuff and things to know. Internal communications coordinator, 84 to 97 and change. There's opportunities here. If you think you have what it takes, or you know someone who does, well, then they should definitely apply, and you should tell them to apply because that's how we get in touch with these magical people to join our magical organization. It's a great place to work. It really is a big family, and you can be part of it. This is the question I talked about earlier. Why are laws so complicated and hard to find information on? I have to follow laws, but not easy to. That's why we're here. That's why. That's the question. That's the answer. So the question of why do we do what we do? It's so that people can ask the questions and get answers. So they don't have the oopsie-doos and then have to deal with the consequences, which are usually suboptimal and less fun than they'd like. What is this? Do 18-wheelers have to take the due diligence and take the outside lane when exiting the highway and not take the inside, forcing drivers to move to the third lane? Thanks. I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Do 18-wheelers have to make good decisions when driving? I don't know what it takes to drive an 18-wheeler. It's the only thing that I don't want to know how to drive. I have no desire to drive an articulated vehicle outside of that of a motorcycle. And guess what? Motorcycles are articulated vehicles.
I just give big trucks the space that they
That's
need.
the best answer.
Like, slow down when they need to merge. Because at the end of the day, they are a very large vehicle.
With
And
terrible
if
vision.
they hit you, they're going to win.
Well, it doesn't matter what happens afterwards. It's just a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
And whether they're the inside or the outside, they have to make up that space at the other side. So if they're on the curb lane on one side, they have to go to the outside lane when they make the turn. Like they just need the space. So give them the space. Let's see here. Can I buy a car without a G1 license just to leave it at home? Can you? Yes, you can get what's called a RIN, a registered. It's RIN for registered owner information number. I don't know what it stands for, but it's basically you can own without being a licensed driver. You just can't drive it. But you could. There's lots of people who own stuff that without the license to operate it. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start with a quote. The reason there are 2 senators for each state is so that one can be the designated driver. That's Jay Leno. That's an interesting perspective on government. All right, dad joke. We have you want to be the button person? You're closer to the buttons.
Sure. Can I just pick a random one?
Well, this is
Which one is which?
A positive, negative.
This is positive. This is negative.
This one specifically, and that one specifically.
Okay.
We'll see how we fare. And then the Chewbacca is above in the orange.
Okay.
Dad joke. My dad, Minton, dad joke. My dog, not my dad. My dog, Minton, ate my racket, and I can't say that word. I don't want to say that word.
I feel like we got to skip that
I'm
one.
skipping that one. It's a great joke. I get it. I just expect that someone will laugh uncontrollably at my expense. Okay. Did you know how the Jedi Order doesn't trust prophecies? It's a non-profit organization. That is the appropriate response.
Yes.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I have to save that for later. I like non-profit. Okay. My son's 4th birthday was today, but when he woke up in the morning, I didn't recognize him at first. I never knew him before. I'm stinking at the reading of the jokes. I'm stinking it. Well, I'm reading it itty bitty from far away in my defense, but when then I press the button to put it on screen, and then it's just there was no flow on that at all. All right. It has been a slice. I must say goodbye. I think I must say goodbye. Do we look into the chat for like a second to see if there's anything wild and crazy? Oh, I'm sorry. This is answer the question. Some of us have to work. Oh my goodness. And let's see here. No, that's not what the word is here. Where is it? It's Emma who says they've been on for over an hour. Chill. Yeah. It's not instant response here. Sorry, that's not how it works. But you can always ask us information, and to do that, like if you can't wait, if you really want to get questions, you can go to TrafficCop.ca, and there, if you can't find the answer to your question on documents in the fields below and the useful comments, you can always send me a message, an email, and I'll get back to you. You can DM me on TikTok, and it takes a while because guess what? There's a lot of questions there, and I'm but one person. But I think that's very funny when people get,
I think a part of it is a lot of people just really like to see what they've typed out and us actually speaking it onto the screen. I don't know. I feel like I get a little hit of dopamine if I'm in someone's live and they like notice me.
Well, it's so funny you say that.
I think it's just human nature. They want to be noticed,
There was somebody streaming bad traffic out their window, like they're in their condo and they're just streaming the streets below going, look at this traffic. And I came in and I go, oh my God, Toronto police is watching.
Yeah.
It was very funny. And then we had a good conversation. I said we should get them to live stream into our stream.
And then us can be like, we can like react to it.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Give tickets.
Do you deal with criminals? All the time. Oh, you mean like as police officer and parking enforcement? I used to all the time. I'm not on the road anymore, so I don't deal with them directly. But yeah,
we do, well, parking illegally is not a criminal offense, but we do often, more often than not than you would know, parking enforcement officers do assist a lot in criminal investigations. For instance, if we come across a stolen vehicle, and then we have to sit on it, and then we get the police involved to investigate. So
you're in and around it.
Well, yeah, we're not, it's not an everyday thing that we're dealing with criminals, but we help the police find them sometimes.
You're definitely a part of the process. and a very useful and helpful resource. Greg Wing wants to know if I'm coming to the Veterans, or we are coming to the Veterans and Everyday Heroes Day of Heroes event this Saturday at Rocky's Harley Davidson in London. I haven't been to Rocky's in a long time because I haven't been to London in a long time. But sadly, no, on this Saturday, I won't be able to attend because I will be at Honda Indy all weekend. That is my giving up my life for, for work situation. Let me go to the website so I can put it on screen because I didn't do that yet. Honda. There we go. First link right there. Gonna put it on screen. Gonna share this.
Are you gonna be there all weekend again with like the tent and all that?
The whole business. I'm there from open till close every day. So will Sergeant Campbell. So if you're interested in coming by and saying hello, we will in fact be there. It's a good time. It's a really good time. We meet all sorts of people who follow us and the channel and engage with us. So we really appreciate the opportunity to reach out and say hello in person. High fives all around. But we do Ask a Traffic Cop live in person.
Yes.
Because that's all we do. We talk to people constantly. And then, of course, we roll around the show and do some live streaming. Last year, I had a golf cart, and we put a camera on it, live streamed as we drove around.
Remember that,
so we're going to do that again, totally. I have a golf cart again. Kayla reminds us that the Harley draw is back, which means that if we go to Harley Raffle, try to stretch here, harleyraffle.ca. Did it work? Here we go. Hey, would you like to buy a ticket for a chance to win a 2023 Street Glide from Harley Davidson, the Grand American 2023? I've never heard of the Grand American. That's on August 28th. I better, you know what? I think I have to buy some tickets. I forgot. I used to be very involved with this and go to all the events, and I've done less of that, in the recent years. But it's one ticket for $20, 3 for $50, or 8 for $100. So that means I need 8 tickets because that's how it rolls. I will have to promote this a lot more going forward because it's coming up soon. Would you like to win a Harley Davidson? It's valued at about $35,000, I'm guessing. Sure,
I'd sell it because I don't have my motorcycle's license.
And hey, and we missed all the early birds. They are all done already. Oh, well. That doesn't mean you can't buy a ticket just because there's no early bird. I know somebody who won the bike a couple years ago.
Oh, wow. Did they keep it?
They did. They ride it. And they put like $10,000 in chrome on it, I think. Like on top of the bike. You get a free bike, you have extra money to put chrome on it.
I can't whistle. I'm trying to be like, but I can't whistle. Yeah, I don't know how to whistle.
At all? You can't whistle?
No, I can't. I don't know why. It's like the one time I will try and I'll do it, there'll be like no one around.
Of course.
I'll be like I whistled. Yeah.
Too Okay, we've learned far too much, and that's it. I've started doing this thing where I play a video at the end, and I've been playing the recruitment video because I love this video. Have you seen this video?
The newer one.
I like it.
Yeah.
Folks, this is the last show for at least scheduled show in the studio. I'll be on scene at the Honda Indy Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. We'll be setting up. I might be able to do an impromptu one on Thursday. We'll see how it goes. But nothing scheduled. And we'll see how it goes. I don't want to make any promises. Right, I don't want to disappoint. Here is our recruiting video of awesomeness. We'll see you when we see you. Take care.
Your future career starts with a vision. A vision of opportunities ahead, where you can see a path to a noble career, serving the city of Toronto. Where do you see yourself? Toronto Police Service. Apply today.